To her remarks tonight.
Thank you so much. Love you too. When you chose me as your Democratic nominee, I made you a vow. In our Georgia, no one would be unseen, no one is unheard, and no one is uninspired. But we know a vow takes effort. It takes commitment to hold truth. Reaching out, reaching across is hard work. But as I told you then, hard work is in our bones. And we have proven this every single day, Georgia, with doors knocked, with calls made, with miles traveled, with prayers prayed to the highest heavens. And tonight we have closed the gap between yesterday and tomorrow. But we still have a few more miles to go. But hear me clearly, that too is an opportunity to show the world who we are. Because in Georgia, civil rights has always been an act of will and a battle for our souls. And because we have been fighting this fight since our beginnings, we have learned a fundamental truth. Democracy only works when we work for it, when we fight for it, when we demand it. And apparently today, when we stand in lines for hours to meet it at the ballot box, that's when democracy works. But I'm here tonight to tell you, votes remain to be counted. There are voices that were waiting to be heard. Across our state, folks are opening up the dreams of voters in absentee ballots, and we believe our chance for a stronger Georgia is just within reach. But we cannot seize it until all voices are heard. And I promise you tonight, we're going to make sure that every vote is counted. Every single vote. Every vote's getting counted. Because I'll tell you this, in a civilized nation, the machinery of democracy should work for everyone everywhere, not just in certain places and not just on a certain day. But what lies on the other side of our efforts? Our best lives are within reach. Fully funded public education in the state of Georgia. Medicaid expansion, and raising family incomes without raising taxes. Every Georgian that we have touched along the way understands the power of the vote. And I will tell you, this election has tested our faith. I'm not going to name names, but some have worked hard to take our voices away, to scare us away, to distract us. But our vision is clear and we see the finish line.
Okay. And there we have Stacey Abrams at her headquarters in Atlanta promising voters that every vote will be counted. We can show you the board right now because it looks like the current Secretary of State, who is her Republican opponent, is leading slightly in the polls you see there, but it's about a margin of just over 100,000 votes. And according to Abrams' campaign, this was record turnout, talking about 3.7 million people voting, about 1.2 million more than in 2014. They believe there are tens of thousands of absentee ballots around the state that have not yet been counted, so they want to wait and try and push this into a runoff.
But her opponent will be the one who will be overseeing the counting of the ballots as they come in.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure there will be.
That's a little dicey, considering the charges that were already leveled against Brian Kemp as this campaign was underway.
She's been making that argument since the get-go. Remember, there were two
about
counties.
Voter suppression, yes.
And there are two counties we were waiting to hear from: DeKalb and Fulton. I just got word about an hour ago from her camp saying that they'd closed the gap from 240,000 to 104,000 votes, with data coming in from DeKalb. So they're hoping they still have more votes to count from those crucial counties.
And in Cobb County, they say there's 25 to 26,000 vote by mail that they believe have not been counted. Clearly, they want to wait and push this, and you know that there are a number of Democratic lawyers on the ground as well saying, let's give this some time.
And this race is not just about Georgia. This race is a race that all Democrats are looking at. The issue of voter suppression and the issue of race in Democratic politics is at the heart of the party. And so this is being watched. And when you think about the party and tactics and how you get votes and voters in this midterm, we've been talking about it on the Republican side. There's a lot of learning going on the Democratic side, too, about what can work and how to use a race like this going forward to make a message for Democrats, too. So this goes well beyond the borders of Georgia.
All right, one other key